Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the KBR show. This is yours truly, King Buddy Ray, on this wonderful Sunday evening. Just finished watching the Knicks Pacers game, and oh man, the Knicks showed up even without Brunson. We'll get into that in a minute, but hopefully everyone is having a great evening and has had a great weekend so far. And those of you that don't work tomorrow, I do, but those of you that don't work tomorrow, enjoy your Memorial Day extended 4-day or 3-day weekend. Apologies there. So make sure you guys have a safe and happy Memorial Day tomorrow. I only work 5-6 hours tomorrow, so got to travel over to West Virginia, so that should be fun. But as everyone knows, we had two big game twos, or my apologies, game threes, last night and tonight. The Timberwolves, they showed up at home. I thought they were going to. We'll start with that one with the Timberwolves. Timberwolves game three, they destroyed the Oklahoma City Thunder in 3 quarters. Start of the fourth quarter, Wolves took their players out. Before the end of the third, the Thunder were like, "We're done." And the final score of that game ended up being 143 to 101. So we're gonna start with a nice little recap of that. The biggest difference in the game there was the Wolves came out hot and started early. Anthony Edwards had 30 points on 12 of 17, and he was 5 of 8 from deep after 1 of 9 performance in game 2 from deep, so he stepped up there. Randall had 24 points after his awful game 2 appearance when he only had 6 points and sat out the whole fourth quarter. Randall had 24 points on 9 of 15. The bench points was key. It was 62-52. Yeah, it's going to be a little higher because the bench plays the whole fourth quarter. But that was in favor of the Wolves as well. But the real key was the Wolves started hot and they kept the Thunder from throwing their Thunderbolt in the third quarter to start the third quarter. But a big difference, and it was someone that no one saw coming, including myself, was Mr. Shannon Jr., the rookie from Illinois University, had 15 points on 5 of 8 shooting. The defense was on fire for the Wolves the whole entire game, forced 20 turnovers. They shot 50% from deep. The bench brought the energy with Dante DiVincenzo, Oz Reed, Shannon Jr., and the crew brought the energy from them. Wolves came out hot, even hotter in the third. SGA was held on ropes by Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jaden McDaniels all night long. He only had 14 points on 4 of 13 shooting. OKC was 14 of 44 from deep. I guess the rumor runs true. You live and die from the three. Everyone has heard that saying that knows anything about basketball. Chet Holmgren only had 10 points on 3 of 7 shooting. Elon Williams had 13 on 3 of 9. It was a very not fun game to watch if you like close games, but I enjoyed watching it. Another game I was able to watch live. Shannon Jr. had his points in a 10 minutes, so that was key for that. The Wolves emptied the bench at the start of the fourth quarter, like I said. 143 to 101. This is the Oklahoma City Thunder are known for defense. Last time I checked, 143 points is a lot of points. It's actually the most points they have ever given up in a game. So Thunder, what are we going to do in game 4? Are the Wolves going to come and make it a series and go back to Oklahoma City on Wednesday, tied 2-2? Or are you guys going to take it back to Oklahoma City up 3-1 and possibly close it out in 5 games? What's going to happen, SGA? Are you going to drop a 30-piece or even a 40-piece? Ant-Man showed up. Randall showed up. The bench showed up. The fans showed up. SGA, did you stay in Oklahoma City? Because you sure as heck didn't show up. I'm glad the Wolves won, though, because it's making it a series now. It's now 2-1 in favor of the Thunder, but tomorrow night's game is in Minnesota, and they're going to show up again, I am sure. I am picking Minnesota to even the series at 2, but sticking with the Thunder winning in 7. So I've got Minnesota winning tomorrow's game. Should be a very, very good game. Hopefully very, very close game. So we will see what happens. Now we're going to transition to the game that just ended a few hours ago. The Knicks versus the Pacers. The Knicks down 0-2, heading into Indianapolis, somewhere where they have not won a playoff game. Mr. Reggie Miller, man. They were 0-9 in Indianapolis. Before tonight, they finally got a win. But big difference from the jump before the tip. Mitchell Robinson starting for Josh Hart. No, Josh Hart was not injured, ladies and gentlemen. He actually ended up having key rebounds late in this game. Mitchell Robinson started for Josh Hart after Tibbs kind of got hated for sitting Cat in the fourth quarter. I thought it was key in game 2 when Cat went out and Mitch played. Other people did not agree with that. I agreed with it. You're welcome, Thibodeau, for that. But it was a smart move, in my opinion. Josh Hart brought some more energy off the bench like he does all the time. Josh Hart's going to be that guy. Whatever you tell him to do, he's going to do it. You tell him to jump, he's going to ask you how high type of guy is who Josh Hart is. So it was very good. So the matchups kind of changed, and I was shocked. The Pacers did not take advantage of having Mitchell Robinson in early. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson's going to get his stops. Karl Anthony Towns was guarding Pascal Siakam. I'm shocked they did not take advantage of that matchup. Siakam's final stat line was 17 points and 7 of 14. I'm shocked he did not take more advantage of that there. It was very shocking. But the biggest thing was the Pacers came out, had a 20-point lead with probably 5-6 minutes left in the half. But the Pacers went on a run to end the half to cut the lead to 13. That was the biggest hump change there that kind of pushed in. Anyone that watches basketball, anyone that knows basketball or sports, it's all how you end the second half and start the third. If you do both of those well, the likelihood of you winning is probably pretty strong. And that's what the Knicks did. But the biggest thing, another thing is they did a lot of this without Brunson. Brunson went out of the game with 7 minutes left with 5 fouls. Didn't come back in until 2 minutes left. He had some key buckets late, of course, but the Knicks went on a run at the end of the third into the fourth quarter, 16-4 run with Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns on the bench. They had Deuce McBride on the floor, Josh Hart, Landry Shamet, and Darrell Wright and Mitch Robinson on the floor for that run. And they went on a 16-4 run to go up to be down 1. It was crazy. And then Cat comes in and gets 12 quick points on the back half of that run. He comes in with about 10 minutes left in the fourth. He sits out the first part of that, and then him and Mitchell Robinson switch places there. But from the end of the third into the fourth, the Knicks ended up going up 3 after a 25-7 run. Then Brunson comes in, gets his 5th foul, and then goes out like a minute and a half later, and they stay up there. I thought he was going to come back in sooner, honestly, but he didn't come back in until 2 minutes left. They were rocking with him. Tibbs was like, screw it. If we're winning with him on the bench, I'm going to keep him there. Probably wasn't what he was thinking, but it's what he did. So Brunson came back in. Josh Hart, man, that dude's going to do anything you say. He had 3 key boards late in this game. 3 key, went over top of Miles Turner, went over top of Pascal Siakam, tipped it to himself on the third one. 3 key defensive boards late. He had 10 boards overall in the game. Josh Hart's that guy. Not always going to get the points. Not always sometimes going to get the boards either, but he's going to be tough in your face, chirping with you all night long. He did get the 10 boards, as I said. The biggest thing is the Pacers could not hit from distance or from the field. They shot, let's look and see what they shot. They shot Have this load up, guys. The Pacers shot 5 of 25 from deep with 20, so that's good old 20%. And they shot 34 of 77 from the floor at 44%. So the Pacers shooting, they just couldn't buy a bucket, and it's not like they were missing open shots. The Knicks were all up in it. Shout out to Tibbs, man. He shut up the haters, myself included. He played Josh Hart, obviously, off the bench. Mitchell Robinson, if you want to be your true bench guy there. He played Deuce McBride. He played Delrell Wright. He played Landry Shamet. And people forget about this man. He was a defensive monster for the Clippers for years. And he's kind of been just sitting on the bench, and they've even got another monster in P.J. Tucker who hasn't been used yet, shockingly, after tonight. And he hasn't been used yet either. So shout out to Tibbs for using his bench there. So it was very, very big for the bench there. And McConnell was big off the bench for the Pacers, but all in the first half. In the second half, the Pacers really couldn't do anything. So some closing numbers for Cat. He had 20 in the fourth, 24 points overall, 8 of 17 shooting. Brunson only had 23 points on a 6 of 18. And like I said earlier, they went on a run when Brunson was on the bench doing his normal late third, early fourth quarter rest. And then he went back and they still continued that run. So it was key there. OG Anunoby had 16 points. Bridges had 15 points. Key off the bench, McBride had 9 points. Hart had 8 points and the 10 boards, as I said. Landry Shamet only had 3 points, but was big on the defensive end there. McConnell had all his points in the first half. The bench points was in favor of the Pacers, but the Knicks were a lot closer. They haven't been within 15 bench points in the first 2 games. It was Pacers 27 on the bench points compared to the Knicks 22. Knicks used the bench way more efficient in this game overall. Yes, a lot of it was because of foul trouble. Karl-Anthony Towns had 3 fouls in the first half, picked up a 4th early, sat him. Brunson had 3 in the first half, picked up his 4th early, sat him, came back in, picked up his 5th, sat him again. Yeah, people are going to say, yeah, Tibbs went to his bench because he was forced to. But Tibbs, if I'm you, I'm using the bench again. I'm doing what you did here. Forget the fouls. Use your bench again. It paid dividends, honestly. It paid dividends. Big Knicks win, first Knicks win ever in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Indy crowd showed up, but the Pacers stayed in the locker room. The crowd was there, but the players were not. The players didn't really do much. So, Game 4 is on Tuesday evening. What happens here? Do the Knicks go back to New York tied 2-2, or do they go back to New York tied 3-1? I will tell you this, Indianapolis fans. You better win Game 4. Because if you let the Knicks come in to your house down 2-0 and then leave up 2-2 or tied 2-2, you're going to New York on what is now will be Thursday. You're going to go to New York Thursday evening, tied 2-2. Good luck getting out of there. So could it possibly be Pacers must win Game 3? Because if you let the Knicks go up 3-2, they come back into your house on Saturday. The Knicks fans were saying post-game, Knicks in 6, and you heard it. Clear as day. Are they right? Who knows? We'll see. I think Knicks are going to win Game 4 and go back to New York tied 2-2, just like Minnesota is going to go back to OKC tied 2-2. I'm just glad we're getting good series and it's not any 3-0s right now. I don't really care who wins at the end of the day. I just like good games. So I was not happy with Oklahoma City and Minnesota game, 41-point butt kicking, all within 3 quarters. So it was pretty ugly there. But I've got the Knicks winning on Tuesday night and the Wolves winning tomorrow to tie both series at 2 games apiece. So that is it for NBA action. Now to the RCBL. RCBL, as we remember, the Bucks started Thursday night, defending champions, playing the Reds, and they won that game 10-1. They come out Sunday night and win again 10-1. Win again 10-1 at Ray Heatwell Field in Bridgewater. Derek Schiffel was not there again. Chris Huffman did not pitch. He didn't even play in the field. Well, he played in the field the last 2-3 innings. I don't know if he's hurt, but he wasn't hustling like he normally does. It doesn't look like his arm, pregame, was really there. So I don't know if he's hurt, but maybe they're taking a page out of the Bucks playbook and not really showing their best arms because they haven't really pitched too many to us in the first 2 games. Maybe. Who knows? We play them again on June 7th or June 6th, I think. No, June 7th, actually. We play them again on June 7th at the Buck Dome. So it'll be interesting to see. But the Bucks win 10-1 again. Another great pitching night from the Bucks pitching staff. Started with Reed Long, ex-Bridgewater College guy, and then Tyler Truslow, current Bridgewater guy, big guy, 6'6", 250 pounds. Then Tyler Conley, last year's finals MVP, pitched an inning, and then Shenandoah University's own Anthony Archiello pitched the last 2 innings there. The Reds scored. The Bucks came out and scored first, going up 3-0. The Reds scored again in the 5th, and then were threatening with runners on 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. Ground ball out, get out of it, leaves the 2 in scoring position in the 5th there. And then the Bucks come, and then nothing happens really in the 6th. But then the Bucks come back in the top of the 7th after a 3-1 game here. Stavros hits a ball up the middle, an error happens, he reaches. And then he comes, and the Bucks bat around, right? The Bucks bat around, and then Stavros comes back to the plate with the bases loaded, clearing the bases. And in the 7th inning alone, the Bucks scored 7 runs on 5 hits. Luke Shiflett was staying hot. His overall night was 2 of 4. Very, very good. 2 singles from him. He now has a batting average of 5.56. Josh Eberle had a rough night. He had a good night in the field, though. He was 0 of 6 with 3 Ks. Pitching, scoreless for Reed. Trust, 3 innings, 1 run allowed. TC had a scoreless inning. Arch, last 2 innings, had 4 Ks. Another total 10K night for the Bucks pitching staff of Reed Long, Tyler Truslow, Tyler Conley, and Anthony Archiello. 10 Ks, only 2 walks. The Reds, no Huffman pitching. They started the night with Matthew Bishop, and then Pat Burke went an inning, and then Jared Peake is what sparked. He allowed 6 runs there, or 5 runs on 5 hits, and then Thurk came in out of right field and allowed 3 runs. But he did fan 5, so a little positive thing there. And then let's look at some Reds batting stats. Who drove in that run? I do not remember. Malachi Simmons drove in the run. He drove in Corbin Lucas is what that was. So he drove in Corbin Lucas. So the Bucks start the season 2-0 in the 2025 Rockingham County Baseball League, the 101st official year of the, in my opinion, the best county summer league baseball in America. Yeah, Cape Cod's up there, but I think we got them beat. So other games on Saturday, you had the Massanutten Mountaineers and the Grottoes Cardinals were going back and forth in Grottoes, but the Cardinals prevailed 112-10 against Massanutten, Grottoes Cardinals, that is. And then Stuart Straft traveled to Elkton to play the Blue Sox. The Diamondbacks won that game 10-4. And then the other game on Sunday evening was the Broadway Bruins versus the Elkton Blue Sox. And anyone that knows Elkton Blue Sox, they won 2 games last year. One of them was against Bridgewater, is the funniest thing, in the playoffs. And then the year before, they won only 1 game. So they actually were up this one. They were up 4-1 in the bottom of the 9th. But Broadway scores 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th to win. So Broadway continues their hot streak. They're 3-0 after scoring 5 runs on Sunday. They scored 18 on Friday, and then they scored 16 on Thursday. So what is that? 15, 16, 31, 5 is 36. 36 runs for Broadway in 3 games. 12 runs a game. So shout out to the Bruins. We play you guys. When do we play them? We play them soon, I think. We don't play them this week, but When's the first game against Broadway? We play the Bruins on the 6th, which is a Friday, which would be 2 weeks from this previous Friday. So looking forward to that one after seeing how Broadway can our pitching staff get with them, or is it a fluke for Broadway? Who knows? It's the RCBL. Anything can happen. But for the upcoming games, you have the Bruins going to Elkton, the Broadway Bruins going to the Elkton Blue Sox on Tuesday, and then yours truly and the Clover Hill Bucks going to Grottos on Tuesday. Both of those games will start at 7 o'clock. The Bucks' next home game is Saturday, the 31st of May, against Montezuma Braves, I think that is. No, Massanutten Mountaineers, actually, on the 31st of May. Massanutten comes to town, so that should be a good one. As always, that is it for RCBL action. Now to local high school sports. TA softball. They beat Rockbridge and get a share of the Valley District title with Broadway, extending their win streak to 12. They just didn't only beat Rockbridge. Kennedy Shiflett, the winning pitcher of the game, tossed a perfect game. No hits, no runs, no errors. I didn't see how many strikeouts, but a perfect game from Miss Kennedy Shiflett. TA baseball ended up losing to Rockbridge, which puts them on the road to start the regionals. TA will host a regional game. Not sure who's where. That's not getting announced. I will probably get announced tomorrow. And if it does, I will share on the next podcast what those will be for the majority of the local schools. Rocktown High School boys soccer. First year for Rocktown. They win the Valley District. And anyone knows the Valley District in soccer, it's a very competitive sport as well. You always are going to have Rocktown and Harrisonburg because those are the two Harrisonburg schools. TA is normally pretty good. Broadway and Spotswood normally have a decent team at it. But congrats to Rocktown. You guys won the Valley District in 1 year as a school. So all regionals start this week, and they actually start on Tuesday. But places to play to be determined. So to hockey, to the National Hockey League. The Panthers scored another 6 goals in this game to take the series 3-0 against the Hurricanes. And they scored 4 goals in a matter of 5 minutes in the third period, only off of 8 shots. That is just absolutely unheard of in hockey. So congrats to the Panthers there. They go up 3-0 and they play game 4 tomorrow night. The Edmonton Oilers win 6-1, going up 2-1 against the Dallas Stars. Connor McDavid had 2 goals tonight. So they will play game 4 on Tuesday evening. The Panthers look to close out tomorrow against the Hurricanes tomorrow. Major League Baseball. The Yankees. Good job. We did not let the Rockies win a series. We bounced back after losing 2-1 on Thursday. We bounced back in fashion and started in an all-rise Aaron Judge dinger, and then ended up winning the game 13-1, and then we won again today on Sunday, 5-4. The Mets lost in extras on Friday, but win on Saturday, and then won again tonight on Sunday to take that series. That was the best 2 payrolls, payroll 1 versus payroll 2, so that was a very interesting game there. I was paying attention to that while watching the Knicks-Pacers game. That was a very interesting game as well. But the biggest news in all of baseball this weekend was a complete game by Tarek Skubal from the Tigers, last year's Cy Young winner. He pitched 13, had 13 Ks in 9 innings, and his last pitch of the game to get his final strikeout was 103 miles an hour. So he still had some velocity on his arm. His arm was not dead. This coming week in baseball, the Yankees travel to the Angels, and the Tigers welcome in the Giants. So should be a good week for Major League Baseball. College World Series softball. One of my favorite college sports to watch other than college football. It's just something different about college softball. It's just something different this time of year about it. I don't know what it is. I've always been a fan. I really don't pay too much attention to it during the regular season. But during regionals and super regionals, I pay mad attention to it. I have no idea why. It's just something I do. They play in Oklahoma. Your Sooner fans are there. But the final 8 are set for the Women's College Softball World Series. 4-time defending champion Oklahoma Sooners will open up against Tennessee. Texas will play Florida. Ole Miss will play Texas Tech. And then the Oregon Ducks will play the UCLA Bruins. Yes, that was 5 of the 8 teams are from the SEC. So that was Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss. So the SEC, yeah, it just means sport. They are good in just about any sport, especially when it comes to college softball, college baseball, and football. And this past year, their basketball program even turned it around. But my pick for the College World Series, till they get knocked off, I don't see Patty Gasto and the Oklahoma Sooners losing. So some think Tennessee and Texas and Florida can mess with them. Yeah, Tennessee's got that pitcher that pitched the record-breaking 79.4 miles an hour, which is equivalent to 104 miles an hour in Major League Baseball. So almost topped 80. Just put the bat on the ball. She's going to provide the power, so just put the bat on the ball. Sooners. So my pick is the Sooners in that. We'll see what happens. All those games start on Thursday. College baseball. The regionals start this week. The Tar Heels won the ACC today in a 14-4 pounding of the Clemson Tigers. And then what lots of people think are going to be the overall number 1 seed, the Vanderbilt won the SEC. That's also another power conference in baseball as well. As I said earlier, the SEC just means more. And then also today started the French Open at Roland Garros, the French Open, and the French Open team did it in style and honored the best player to ever play on the clay courts there. 14-time winner, Rafael Nadal. My personal favorite tennis player. I don't think he's the best. I think that's Roger Federer, but my personal favorite one to watch. Yeah, I use Babolat. When I play tennis, tennis is my go-to sport. I have Babolat rackets and all of that, and he's the Nike guy as well, and I wear Nike tennis apparel. So they honored him with a plaque with his footmark on it on the center court at Roland Garros. If I had to pick who's going to win that, I think it's fellow Spaniard of Rafael Nadal. I think Carlos Alcaraz is going to do it in honor of Nadal. And now, to your positive thought of the day, never allow people who give up on their dreams to convince you to give up. If you give up, it's on you, not on others. Don't do what others tell you. Don't do what the haters say. Don't do what the critics say. Don't do what the world says. Do what you think is best. Do not give up. Don't let them to convince you to give up. You are strong. Keep going. Keep driving. Keep thriving. And never, ever give up. Average is great, yeah, but seek to be more than average. Seek to be legendary. Follow your dreams. Strive for greatness. Be great at whatever it is you want to be great at. It doesn't matter if I like it. It doesn't matter if Bob likes it. It doesn't matter if Susie likes it. If you like it, go be great at it. Don't give up. Don't quit, no matter what anyone says. Go be great. Go be you. Strive for greatness. Let the haters talk. Let the haters hate. Let your success speak for itself. Don't give up. Don't quit. As I said on the last podcast, winners never quit and quitters never win. Strive for greatness and go get it. Go get it. Let the critics and the haters, don't let them bring you down. Don't listen to them. Go get the goals you have set for yourself and go be great. And that is a wrap for the 4th episode of the KBR show. Remember, tomorrow night you have the Minnesota Timberwolves bringing back in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Can the Thunder make it a 3-1 series, or do the Wolves tie that at 2? On Tuesday night, you have the Knicks trying to tie the series at 2 games apiece in Indianapolis. And then also on Tuesday night, you have the one and only Clover Hill Bucks traveling to Grottoes to face the Cardinals. The regionals for all high school sports start this week, and then on Thursday, you have the Women's College Softball World Series. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the KBR Show. This is yours truly, King Buddy Ray, signing off, and as always, go Bucks.